So today we have a 2003 BMW 325xi, and the complaint is a random misfire at idle sometimes. It's not currently misfiring. Seems to be running fairly smooth, but you can feel it occasionally under light load. Plus it also has a shudder in the drivetrain under moderate to heavy load, accelerating from a stop, first and second gear. It's a standard. So we're going to scan it and see what codes it has in it. So here's the codes in the engine control computer. It has a code for a thermostat issue. It has a electrically controlled thermostat, so there's likely an issue with that heating element. It has a code for air injection system. It has an electric air pump. I don't hear it running. Normally you'd hear that air pump running on a cold start. So it's failing that. Then it has misfire codes on cylinder 4, 5, 3, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we're going to look at mode 6 data in the OBD2 side of things as an OBD O2 bank 2 control deviation. That's like fuel trim codes. And bank 1. Oh, and it has misfire on cylinder 6. So all 6 cylinders reporting misfires. Maybe mode 6 data will show you misfire counts. I'm not sure. All kinds of possibilities for, let's just have a look at this according to SureTrack, what's common here. Mass airflow sensor. You could have an induction leak too as well. Windshield washer system. Why would that be in there? That's weird. Windshield washer system causing a fuel trim fault code? Really? And on this one here we have mass airflow sensor, engine intake air duct. Yeah, that would make sense. If we've got an induction leak, it could result in it running lean and misfiring. Let's see if there's any freeze frame data. So on the BMW enhanced side of things, there is no freeze frame data as far as I can see. They don't provide generic functions. I'm going to try one more time going into engine. Yeah, there's no generic function, so we're going to have to exit this vehicle and re-ID as an OBD2. With the OBD diagnose, start communication. It should automatically detect the protocol. I haven't cleared the code, so I wouldn't have erased this information. It's a little slow at detecting the protocol. ISO 9141-2 is the protocol. So we're going to go into freeze frame data and see if there's any freeze frame data stored. The check engine light is not currently on, and I don't know if it was reported to be coming on either. We'll see if there's any freeze frame data for any one of these faults. It's probably going to have a freeze frame data for the no, it's got a cylinder misfire code P0304. Was in closed loop. Short-term fuel trim was at 21% on both banks. The exhaust system is divided into 2 banks. So the long-term fuel trim was at 5 and 6% plus another 21%. So it definitely was running lean while that code set, and it was sitting still by the looks of it, idling or just off idle. Interesting. Let's save this. Oops, the wrong button. File, save, collected data, import, P0304, freeze frame, BMW. We'll save that in case we want to look at it later. Let's also go in and look at misfire counts on mode 6 if it's there. Mode 6, test parameters, onboard diagnostics. Let's see if there's any report of misfires. You'd have to know which test ID it is. And because it's not decoded by this scan tool. This is where some of the OBD2 generic scan tools do a better job, because that's all they really have to work with is mode 6 data. Well, that looks like Misfires, but it says, because normally when you see the 65,535, that's Misfire counts, and there are 6 of them, so that would make sense. I'm not sure. I'd have to decode these test IDs. Test ID 02. They look like Misfire counts. And there's 373, 359, 540, 386, and so on. Well, we're not going to worry about it too much. We're going to look for an induction leak. So it almost sounds like this thing has got a vacuum, where you can hear a hissing noise in the back area of this intake. I'm going to try smoke testing this. This duct could be leaking because the mass airflow sensor is here, so any induction leak, I've had one of these where this rubber bellows was split. I'm going to put smoke into this nipple right here and see if it comes out anywhere. So I've had it running now for a few minutes and I see no signs of smoke. I've got my smoke machine running here, as you can hear. I'm manipulating this hose, seeing if there's any cracks in it, and there's no evidence of any smoke coming out. There is smoke coming out of the machine, obviously. So I'm wondering if we could have a crankcase ventilation issue. Some of these engines develop a problem with the crankcase ventilation system, if I remember correctly. So I was looking at engine data on BMW enhanced side, and there is no, at least I could not find fuel system status. So in the generic side, right now idling, it shows an open loop fault, so that's why the fuel trims are not being corrected, because it's an open loop fault. So I'm going to shut it off and restart it and let it go into closed loop. Maybe I'll clear the codes out of it. So after clearing the codes, the engine actually smoothed out and started running smoother, and you can see it's in closed loop now, and we're adding 27% short-term fuel trim to both banks. So it's definitely running lean for some reason, yet I can't find an induction leak. I'm going to smoke the intake manifold and see if I see anything. I did check for excessive crankcase vacuum, and it doesn't appear to have excessive vacuum, but could still have a problem with the crankcase ventilation system. So I put the smoke machine into the brake booster vacuum hose, and I'm going to run it for a few seconds to see if you can see any smoke. There's something going on with this intake manifold runner control shaft or something. There's lots of smoke coming from around that area, so I'm going to take that off and see what's going on in there. So there's 2 fasteners that hold this intake manifold runner control box, and there's an O-ring in there, and that looks like where it was coming from, but I'm going to have to remove this air induction system to get it out of there. I don't know how far into the manifold that goes, but we're hitting this air induction pipe, so yeah, I'll see if I can sneak it out of there. So with the air filter housing top removed, you can just barely sneak that out of there past that false firewall. Here it is here, and this is what I'd call a intake manifold runner control, and it's broken. That's one problem with it. The shaft is broken inside. There's the vacuum passage there that goes into the actual diaphragm, and it goes through the diaphragm, controlled by this solenoid to pull that valve. So we need a new one of these things for sure. I'm going to see if I can find a vacuum cap or plug that'll fit that hole, and then put it back together without this, just temporarily, to see how it runs. So I put it back together with this blue hydraulic cap in the hole in the intake manifold, and I put some smoke on it now and see if that leaks. in case there was something else, but I'm pretty sure the smoke was coming through that diaphragm in that. Now we're going to run it as well with that cap in there and see how the fuel trims are and see if there's any other issues. I don't see any smoke coming from that area now. So I got it running now with that hydraulic cap in the intake manifold hole to seal it off. We're going to see what the fuel trims do now. I did not reset the fuel trims or clear the codes. This right off the bat, it's in closed loop, and the short-term fuel trim numbers are, bank 2 is at 8%, and bank 1 is at 0, and it's coming down. It's relearning now. It's 4.7% on bank 2, so it's definitely not running lean anymore. That vacuum leak was causing the problem. We'll see if we can find that intake manifold runner control assembly. I'm sure I'm going to have to order it online. I would like to see these stay within 10%. Okay. Well, that whole assembly is available from Dorman, but it's not cheap. It retails for $530. There is a kit apparently that you can buy, but I'm not sure that's going to be adequate to fix it. I wonder if it comes with seals, because you'll need the O-ring seals. This is the piece that's broken in there, and I'm not convinced that that's going to be enough parts to fix this existing one. I'm going to have a look at other resources.